Hello and welcome everyone to another InventRight webinar, Master the Art of Licensing. We got a great speaker for you today. Before we introduce him, we'll tell you who else is on the line. I'm over there on the left, the guy without the glasses. My name is Andrew Krause, and I co-founded InventRight with Stephen Key, the guy over there further on the left. And he is a successful inventor, and we have partnered up it's almost 21 years ago, Stephen, now. And we've been coaching and mentoring inventors ever since to license their products for royalties. And we have been doing this series during the pandemic almost every single week. And we're bringing on incredible speakers, right, Stephen?
Well, Andrew, what's amazing is that the speaker we have tonight, he's a lawyer, and he's going to give us some free advice. Now, you and I both love free. And you know that our audience knows that with the 600 videos on inventRightTV, we explain how to license ideas with all those videos. We write books. We've done 1,000 articles on Forbes Inc. and Entrepreneur on how to license ideas. So we love giving away information, good content that our audience, our inventors can actually use, save a little money, educate themselves, and basically get down the road to commercialize their inventions. And that's why I'm really happy that I stumbled across this amazing video. Now, there's a lot of videos out there, everyone, and I'm always looking for good content. I stumbled across this particular one with Steve, and we're going to bring him on in just a second. And he did this video on how you can file a trademark yourself, Andrew, and I watched it, and it's about 25 minutes long, but it's so good that I thought, well, this is really amazing because I have filed my own trademarks over the years, and I think it's fairly simple to do. And I filed for 13 and actually got 13 and never had an issue with it, but I didn't watch this. I've never watched the video. I kind of just stumbled along, but when I saw this video with Steve, I thought, we got to share this with everybody because it's just good. It's easy for people to understand, and it's going to save you some money. So, Steve, thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Stephen and Andrew, and just for number one, finding my video. That's kind of what I do it for, to try to find clients and make connections, business to business connections with people like you. And so I love what you guys are doing at inventRight, and appreciate you finding me and having me on. And I'm a fan of yours, and I'm a fan of Free 99 as well.
Well, thank you, Steve.
Information for free, as I say.
Information for free. Now, wait a minute. You're a lawyer giving this type of information away for free. Why is that?
Well, that's a great question. I would just say years ago, I went to social media marketing seminars and different things, and a lot of different studying on how to build your brand and your business in the legal profession. And a lot of the main complaints that people had with lawyers was, the lawyers would have a bad name, or this, that, or their billing practices. But really, like, trust was a big issue. With the sea of attorneys, there's a million attorneys. I believe there's 1.2 million or 1.5 million attorneys in the United States. How do you pick the right one? Even if you drill it down into intellectual property law, which is what I do, how do you drill it down into just how do you find the attorney that you want to work with? So I always enjoyed when I was a kid doing videos, and so I decided I was going to try to show my personality. I was going to show what I know, and I also wanted to show some things that I wished they would have taught me in law school. And as they say, when you go to law school, is they don't teach you how to be a lawyer, they teach you how to think like a lawyer. So there was a lot of things that I wish they would have taught me. I know my channel, my YouTube channel, has a lot of law students, paralegals, things like that, people that are not familiar with all these things. And so I decided to show my personality, share my information, general legal information only. And by the way, on this show today, per our ethical rules, I need to make sure that everything is general legal information only. I need to just say that for the record. But yeah, so it's been fun. I've got some fun comments. When I first posted the video, somebody said, "Oh my God, lawyers are going to hate you for this." But you know, there was already LegalZoom out, or Zoom Legal. I'm not sure which one they are, but they have, you know, they came out and they had a low cost offering, and it's been, I think it's technology, that kind of technology has made it tougher for trademark lawyers. So I said, you know, I'm going to share what I know. I'm going to show my personality. I'm going to try to stand out in what I'm doing, and I want to build trust, and I want to have a website that's based on where can I go to find the truth. So
got it. Well, I cannot thank you enough. Now let's talk, Andrew. Go back to that. This is the website, you guys. If you want to find out more about Steve, check him out. He does a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that at the very end. But I want to talk about. Thank you for putting the slide up. I love, you know, it's funny. I'm an inventor, but over the years, there's been a reason why to file a trademark. Sometimes I had a product. Sometimes I started a company. It all depended, but all depended on what I needed it for. But I found it was fairly easy. What I found that was complicated was the USPTO's website at times to navigate it. That's always a little difficult, but I always got through it. And it was really affordable to do it myself. So I think a lot of people are going to find this extremely helpful. So why don't we do this? Why don't we just jump in and wait a minute, before we start, Steve, what's an average cost for someone to hire you or somebody else for a trademark?
Well, I can tell you, back in the good old days, as I would call it, I've been practicing since 2004. I would say back in the good old days of trademarks, you know, my fee was about $1,500, and as you know, where we are now, we're probably talking less than 1,000, depending on if something's super complicated. But in general, less than 1,000, and that includes consulting, choosing the right name, searching to make sure you've got a good mark, the process, any follow-up, things.
Okay, so but basically you can do it yourself for, you know, $200 to $300, correct?
Well, yeah, and let me just make clear. So what I'm saying is you would have the attorney fee, and then you would have your registration fee, your $225 or your $275 per class. So the fees are always extra depending on what you want to do. But yeah.
Okay. But I want everybody to know, if you can hire someone in the legal profession, and a patent attorney or someone that's in the field of intellectual property, that's an attorney, I highly recommend hiring someone to do it for you. And it's easy. I think they're going to do a fantastic job. And it gives you a little bit more confidence that you're doing it right. But you can do it yourself, and that's why we're doing this class tonight. So why don't we just jump on in, Andrew, and start with the video.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play. Steve did such an amazing job with this video. We're going to play a 26-minute video training you on how to file a trademark without a lawyer. There might be little things as we watch that Steve says at the end, like, well, that changed a little bit here or there. But for the most part, it's the same today as it always has been. So we're going to go ahead and play that, and then we'll come back. We'll do some Q&A. I'm sure you guys will have some questions, and it'll be a lot of fun. So here we go.
All right, hi again, Attorney Steve Vondran. We're back, licensed practice law, California and Arizona. We take federal trademark cases and copyright cases, intellectual property, nationwide. All right, in this video, we are going to be talking about getting a trademark without hiring a lawyer. Okay, so a lot of people want to come out of the gates, a lot of startups, they want their trademarks, but they're going, yeah, then the attorneys want like $1,500 or $2,000. And so this video really is about how to get your trademark, to apply for a trademark without an attorney if you're in that position. So let's just go. The trademarks is basically a federal registration system, okay? So there are state trademarks. You can register to get state trademark protection in your state. Most states that I'm aware of have a state trademark registration system, but really the granddaddy and what everybody wants is these federal trademarks. These are going to give you the nationwide rights. That's what a lot of companies are looking for, especially just getting out of the gate, wanting that protection that they can sell nationwide, okay? And this is for your goods or your services. You can get a trademark for your products. You can get a service mark for your services, okay? So what I'm looking for actually is I'm going to be going for a service mark to describe my services from my law firm. And I'm looking for the first name in legal services. So one of my branding techniques that I use on Facebook, on my live videos, and elsewhere is attorneysteve.com, the first name in legal services. And so I want to go get a trademark for that today. So what I want to do is just go to the USPTO, that's the Patent and Trademark Office, click on your trademark button. And if you want to search, it's always recommended that you first do a search just to see if there's anyone else already there. Why would you apply for a trademark if somebody's already there? You would be wasting your money. Okay, and once you file these things, you can't get your money back, okay? So let's just go the first name in legal services, and let's do a search and see if anybody has that. So I search, I don't see anything there, so I feel pretty comfortable. Now I've also done that, which you haven't seen, I've also done what I just call a common law search, searching around, seeing what else might be out there, but I didn't see anything. So I feel pretty good that I can get a service mark for the first name in legal services, which describes my services. We are the first name, attorneysteve.com. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, fine, I feel good about that. I'm going to go get that trademark. So here's how I do it, okay? So go back to your USPTO, click your trademarks button, go apply online. Now this is T's and there's different ways to apply, but I just come right here to the T's, okay? And you have your T's reduced form, regular form, T's plus form. Now you can see here the classes of goods and services here are only $225, and it goes up from there. The T's reduced fee form, if you have a long description that you want to get in there, it's better to go this way. I just filed one, for example, for clothing, and because I had shirts, hats, hoodies, all that stuff, I put it in here with a special description of the goods, okay? So, but I'm going to go, for my purposes, I'm going to go right here. It's $225 per class of goods and services, and we'll get to that in a second. But here's all you do. Click on this. This is going to pull up the page. Read everything on this page. I don't have time to go over all this for you. This is quick and dirty. But read everything on the page so you understand what's going on. And for me, since I'm an attorney filing this application, I'm going to get right into it. Yes. If you had a previously saved file that you were working from, you could do that. But I'm just going to go continue. So that's easy. Page 1. Owner of the mark is going to be my law office right there. So you type in the name of your law office or whoever's going to own the mark. And it could be a corporation. In my case, it's a corporation. Could be individual. It could be a partnership, joint venture. You could just be a sole proprietor. It doesn't really matter. Get that in there. If you're a company, you may want to consider corporations, and we can help you with California and Arizona corporations. But once you select that, get your state in there. This is going to be California. Okay. And then you're going to have your street address. So we're just going to use our office address there up in San Francisco, California, and you can do your zip code. Do your zip code there, and you can type in, some of this is pre-populated from previous trademark filings. Your phone, your fax. The items in red are required. You have to have those. These you do not, but these can be deemed as helpful. If you have a website, you can put that in there if you want. And I'll just put, for now, I'll put attorneysteve.com. I've got my email address in there. So bingo. So now you're done with 2 pages. Okay. Check to make sure everything's right. You want this to be accurate. Okay. So check to make sure everything's right. If you say yes, that looks good, go continue down here at the bottom. Okay. So now you're down with 2 pages. You're working your way through here. Okay. Owner of the mark, corporation. Oops. You must specify through one, or if you make an error, you will see this up here at the top, which is good. It just alerts you that there's an error. You must specify through one of the 4 checkbox, DBA, also known as the actual name. So here, well, the problem is I accidentally pre-populated that. I did not want to do that. So I'm not a DBA. I'm not also known as. It's none of that. So let's just keep it at that. And let's try to continue again. Okay, so now we're on the next page. Now they're asking me what kind of mark I'm applying for. If you're doing a logo and all that stuff, you can click here, special. You can also get trademarks for sounds. People don't know that. A lot of people don't know that, but like the Intel sound, do do do. You know, you can any kind of sound mark that's distinguishing your goods and services. You can get a sound mark for. That's pretty cool if you think about it. So think about that. This is your logos, but for me, this is just a standard character. And I'm just going to put the first name, if I can type it, that is the first name in legal services. Okay, so that's what I want. You can preview it here. The first name in legal services. Like, well, maybe I'll just capitalize the I while I'm at it, you know. So we'll just do that. The first name in legal services. Okay, that looks good. That's what I want. That's going to be my trade mark, or should we call it my service mark? And same thing, when you get a trademark or a service mark, you get the R with the circle on it. That's what you want. Okay, so that's what we're going for. Now, if you have an additional statement to add, sometimes you have, this happens quite a bit actually, you have to disclaim something. Like, let's just say you're trying to get the word amazing legal. Well, you'll have to disclaim the words amazing. You'll have to disclaim the word legal. And you would just come through here, check the box, and you would just come in here. This is important. And a lot of times I'll see applications that are rejected, or you'll get an office action letter from the USPTO because they'll say you didn't disclaim the word legal. You can't have a monopoly on the word legal. What are you thinking? So, but because mine's a phrase, the first name in legal services, you know, I should be good on that. So I'm not gonna go with that. So I'm just gonna put the first name in legal services, no additional statement. It's just a slogan, and then, you know, if you want, like I say, you know, you can put this. I mean, it's up to you, but you can come here, and then maybe just to disclaim it, we'll put, I'm not seeking any exclusive right to use the word legal services apart from the mark, so that may help the examiner. Okay, these once filed, they go to an examiner who examines them to see if there's any prior marks or any conflicts or anything out there in what we call the common law, or any domain registrations or state trademark registrations. They're looking for confusingly similar marks. If there's already a confusingly similar mark that's out there in the big world, or if there's a pending trademark application, you might not get your mark. That's why it's kind of important to search. Do a good search in advance before you're trying to file these. So you've seen we've rolled through these pages pretty quick, actually. So now we're down here to adding, and again, read these pages. Lots of information on here. There's some helpful videos and things that can help you if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. Of course, we also always recommend seeking legal advice. This video is not a substitute for legal services or seeking it's not a substitute for, you know, retaining a counsel and discussing with a lawyer. Okay, it's just general information. But I'm going to add goods or services as the next thing you do. Now, what this is basically is, so I have my legal services, and you know, what the USPTO has done is basically broken the business world down into 45 different classifications. And you're trying to tell the trademark examiner which classification you're in. You can't get a protection in every single category. I mean, like, I wouldn't get first name in legal services for clothing. I mean, that wouldn't be, I mean, I guess you could do it if you wanted to, but you know, I want to get into the legal services category. So what you got to do is hit your add goods and services. Okay, now up here, I can just, this is very helpful, legal services. Let's just type that here. So here's the different classes. Now remember I said it was 0 to 45. You have these different classifications. Now also, so let's just look at that. Actually, I don't want to digress on you, but so you have all these different legal services that you can find. Now some of them, most of them, as you can see, are in class 45. So that's looking like it's going to be the category that I want to be in. But let's see, you also see like 36, automotive club services providing reimbursement for legal fees. See, that's not exactly where I want to be. So what you're looking for is this one, legal services, namely providing customized information, counseling, advice, and litigation services in all areas of international law. Well, I'm not doing international law, so that doesn't quite fit. And as I mentioned in the first screen, if you have a custom description that you want to use, you can go to the T's RF. That's a reduced fee. That would have been the different link to start with, and you can go in there and put your custom names in. But so I'm kind of looking for something, like this: legal services, namely providing customized documentation, information, counseling, advice, and consultation services in all areas of, and you can specialize your law. So that's pretty close, so I'll take a look at that. And then what you do basically is you come down here, insert your checked entry. So I clicked, as you can see, where was that? Class 45, legal services. Okay, so you got your class 45, and you have different things here: legal advisory services, legal consultation services, like I said, all kinds of different things. But let's just say that you feel good, and you say, let's go. Let's insert the checked entries, and we're right here actually. So legal services, namely providing customized documentation, information, counseling, advice, and consultation services in all areas of. Now you can get narrow, and you could put, copyright law, all areas of copyright law. That would give you really more specific protection. But I'm going to put intellectual property law. That's what I'm going to put. Okay. So we're just going to add that. Actually, we're going to remove that. Okay. So you have that there. Okay. So we have our class 45. We have our legal services. Okay. And that's intellectual property law. That's what we want to do. Let's see. Let's just do, but let's open it up a little bit more, because sometimes I do different cases. I'm going to put business, real estate, and intellectual property law, since I also do cases in these other areas. Okay, so what you're going to do there, so you have that, and you are going to insert the checked entries. Now you can see what it's done. Okay, so now we're on the next page, the basis for filing page. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Again, little helpful videos here if you want to do it. If you want to go and add more classes of goods or services, in other words, you want to be in additional classes besides 45, maybe you wanted to get back in that other one, or maybe you wanted to get into the educational class or clothing class, you would go back and add more classes. Okay, but I'm fine with this. And again, you want to just check it. Okay, I got my class, legal services. This is what I'm doing: advice, counseling, consultation services in all areas of business, real estate, and intellectual property law. Okay, so I'm narrowing it down there. So if somebody wanted to come in and do this in divorce law, well, maybe they would have an argument that it's different, but there would also be an argument that there's a likelihood of consumer confusion, which would allow, if my trademark registered, would allow me to try to oppose somebody else's registration of the same mark. So, but I like to put it in the areas where I practice. I like to be specific and say this is what I do. And if you're in divorce law, do I really care? If you say you're the first name in legal services and divorce law, not really. I mean, I'm not competing with you. I'm not concerned that our clients are going to be confused. Okay, so let's get down. So now we've got our trademark. We have done that. Now, let's see what else we have here. Okay, so you're going to do the section 1B. Now, actually, I should just say, these are the two main ways that marks are registered. There's foreign marks here, but let's not concern ourselves with that. Either you're actually using this mark in commerce now, or you're intending to use it. So intent to use is what we call the 1B filing. That's for the startup companies, and they're saying, well, I'm just starting up, but I want to preserve this so we can go and put a lot of marketing and put a bunch of advertising. We want to get some investors. Let's get our trademark. So this would be your 1B filing. If you're already using it in commerce, that's interstate commerce between at least two states, then you can go do an intent now. So what I have if I go to my main website, you can see that I have this. This is my main website. You can see that I have this here, welcomeattorneysteve.com, the first name in legal services. So I'm using this on my internet, which is accessible by all states and countries. So that's basically being used in interstate commerce. So we're good with that. Now, so I'm actually using the marks. Let's do as section 1A, actually using the mark in commerce now. Let's click that button. And I must have already clicked it. So let's just go continue. Whoops, no, I guess I didn't. So sometimes you got to play with this a little bit. So I'm using my mark now. Okay. Now it's asking me, you can see here, and again, you got your videos up here, instructional basis, blah, blah, blah. If you want to add more goods and services, just go here. Okay. And again, if you wanted to customize this, you would go back and use the T's reduce fee, RF, okay, and then you could customize it. But so I've got this, fairly well customized. Now, what they need is a specimen. Since you said you're using it in commerce, they want to see a specimen. So I go, okay, let's get you a specimen from my computer. Let's choose a file, and I'm going to go to my downloads. And I'm going to do the first name in legal services. There's my JPEG, and that's just a shot of my home screen. Okay, that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to attach that. Okay, first name, there it is, my JPEG. I'm going to attach that. And there it is. You can see it linked there, so you're good, right? Now, you're going to want to return to application. And you see your file is attached. That's what you need to make sure, that your file is attached. And it's asking you for a description. This is an example of using my slogan on the home page to my legal website. So tell them what it is. And then they want to know the date of first mark used anywhere, anytime the mark was first used. And I've used it some prior times to this. I don't know the exact date, but let's just say I know I was using it in the month of October, so I'm just going to use that date. And I believe that's also the first date of use in commerce. So I've been using this for about a month now. So I'm going to just go, actually it's not 2013. Check your dates. As I said, always check. So that's when I've been using the mark in commerce. Okay, so we've got this, so we've got our classification, we got our description of the goods and services, we got our 1B is our filing basis, that's intent to use. Okay, and we've got our specimen attached, we've got a description, we've got our dates of first use. So now we're going to assign the filing basis down here. Okay, so now you got that. And again, they're telling you have to make sure the statements are accurate, because they have to be accurate, or you're subject to cancellation. They're also, if you're doing the 1B, which is the intent to use, notice here I'm doing the 1A, which means I'm actually using it. If you're doing the 1B, you have to have a bona fide intention to use the mark with all goods and services. So when you make that big laundry list of all the clothing things that you're going to get a trademark on with your intent to use, and you say, I want to make this incredible clothing line with every piece of, be careful, because there needs to be a bona fide intention to use the mark on all goods and services, and the examiner could require that proof, by the way. So, but that's it. So you're getting that set up. So now you go continue. If you have an attorney doing this, which is me, then yes, I would do my name. You can add this information in, and street address. I could add all that in. Again, got my firm in there. That's PC. Sometimes you gotta mess with that. So we're just gonna do that. Check your addresses, city, state, zip, boom. Check your emails, and then really all you're doing down here is check to authorize them to the USPTO to communicate with you. So do continue. So we got the address right. Hit continue. You're working it. Okay, so now you're getting down here. You're trying to register this on the principal register where you want to be. So just check everything. Looks good, looks good, looks good. Here they're going to ask you to add a secondary email address. I'll put my wife. Sometimes she'll be on there if I need it. So again, so that's it. You just double check everything. Looks good. Phone number, right? Continue. Now, as you see, I only picked one class, and that was that legal services class, 45. So I'm seeking the service mark in that area. Okay. 225 is the fee. I'm using the T's online, so that's 225. Not too bad, right? That's all I'm paying for a trademark. Okay. So signature method, I'm just going to do sign directly right here. I'm going to put this. You really just kind of put your kind of just put your initials in the brackets there. See how I'm using those brackets? You put my name. There's my name. Pre-populates my phone, and then click on that. You'll get your date, 11/1/16. So that's really it. Read the declaration. You're signing this basically saying that all your statements are true, that you're being honest and accurate. And then you're just simply going to validate. Okay, so whoops, I forgot. See again, they put something, so I forgot the signatory's position. And I'm just going to put attorney. Forgot to put that in there. Then I'm going to validate. Okay, then you get to this page. You're just about done. You're just about done. Here's your chance to check what you've done. You've got your input. Go ahead and take a peek at that. And just go down and make sure this information is accurate. Once you submit it, you may have a hard time changing anything. Okay, so we got the mark. I've got my slogan there. The first name in legal services. Make sure that looks right. The mark consists of standard characters without any claim to particular font, style, color, size, or color. I don't care. I just want the name, and then I'll figure out how I want to use it. There's my address, a phone number, got a website there just for reference. Corporation in California. Here's my international class, 45. Here's my identification. We got a Section 1A filing. I've been used anywhere at least as early as 10/1, and my first use in commerce is about the same date. I started using it at the same time. And my specimen. Okay, so if you got all that in there, you got to be feeling pretty good. These are some extra areas where you can translate, and that's one of the screens if you've got to go back. If you're using someone's name, image, or likeness, you got to get consent. So, but other than that, and I've got my disclaimer, no claim is made to the exclusive right to use legal services apart from the mark shown. I can't be the only person that uses that. All right, so you got all that down. Looks pretty good. I got my T's plus. All right, so let's just go back. And I feel good. Let's just check the mark one last time. The first name in legal services looks good. Let's go back. And here's some other things that you can look at, but I really don't focus on. I give a second little email acknowledgement there. You got to put your email in a bunch of times. So there it is. Boom, boom, boom. Looking good in the hood. And then you come over here. If you've read and understood the pay, again, read these instructions. Don't skip over them just because I've read these, so I'm not going to read them again. But take your time. Read everything in here. Okay. And then really, once you're done with that, click that box. Pay submit. Pay submit. Okay. That's going to take you to a payment page. Okay. Now, if you're registered in here, you can sign in. I just pay as a guest. Bada bing. Hit that. Get in there. I'm not going to do this page for you, but that's it. You're going to put your credit card payment in, and wada bing, bada bingo. That's how you file a trademark, people. That's how you do's it. That's how the big fancy lawyers do it. We all go through this page. So there you have it. Never let it be said that you can't start your business on a shoestring budget. Get your corporations, get your trademarks, protect your intellectual property, and if you need help, where are you going to go? AttorneySteve.com, the first name in legal services. Thank you all. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you like my channel, like my videos, give me a subscribe. If you've got any comments, give me some comments. Feel free to share this video on your social media networks, and I hope you guys go out and kill it in business. Make millions, baby. Have fun. Do what you love. And fire your boss. Just kidding. That's one of our jokes. Fire your boss and start your own company. Okay? Take care, everybody. Attorney Steve out.
Great stuff. Thank you, Steve.
Hey,
Heck,
fire
good.
your
Welcome.
fire your boss.
Fire your boss. Yeah, I used to use that a lot. It just was one of my taglines that I heard somewhere, and I liked it, and I wished more people would do it. They would, I think, a
We
lot more.
like it. Wait a minute. We like it too. We want you to fire your boss and
That's
license
right.
ideas
That's
and
right. That's the key to
yeah.
happiness, in my opinion.
Well, Steve, thank you very much. That was fantastic. I have a couple questions, and I know a lot of people probably have questions. But the first one, how long does this take for them to get back to you to say, hey, you got it or not?
Yeah, great question, and that's a very common question. And so I usually tell people consider about 6 months. If you have problems, it could go longer, but what happens basically, you apply for your trademark. It takes a couple months for them to appoint a trademark examiner at the USPTO. So really, there's just a couple months of lag time right up front,
Okay.
and they're going to do their own review. They're going to do a search of, they're looking for conflicts and likelihood of consumer confusion. So that's going to take a little while. If there's any objections, you're going to get a trademark office action letter. So if you do it
Okay.
right and do everything right, probably 6 months or maybe a little bit less depending on their caseload, but
Okay.
somewhere in that neighborhood.
So in the meantime, I can put a TM. Can I put that on there?
Yeah, yes, that's a great question. You can actually put the TM anybody can use. There's not a law behind the TM. That's basically just putting other people on notice that, I consider this to be something important to me. And the goal in getting a federal registration is turning that TM into the R, which I think is the coveted IP asset and the one that really has value. But like I said in the video, you can use that. If you don't want to get a trademark and you just want to get started with your business, you can do a TM. You can put a TM on your slogans. And I would keep a pad if you're going to do that. Keep a notepad and just put your different TMs. And when you're feeling ready for it, go and try to convert those into a trademark and build your
Sure.
trademark portfolio.
Okay. Steve, I have a couple questions here because there's questions about this 1B, the specimen situation. I'm not using it. I'm an inventor. I plan on using it. How long do I have, or what do I do in the meantime? Or can I show kind of some example of how I'm going to use it? How do I deal with that?
Yeah, that was talked about briefly in the video, but yes, what there is the 1B filing. And so say you're a new inventor and you have kind of let's say you're in the stages of getting your product developed, prototypes and things like that, and you say, well, I want to start a company, I want to get, doing all if I know you guys are more into the licensing aspects, but if somebody says, I want to get a trademark for this, but I'm not actually using it in commerce, trademarks have to get a trademark, you actually have to use it in commerce. That trademark is based on use. So you would file the 1B as in biscuit, the 1B filing,
Yes.
and you don't immediately submit any specimens with that. You just file
Okay.
your 1B filing. It goes through the process. It eventually gets, the examiner will be assigned. They'll review it. It'll be public if it's good. If it's a good distinctive trademark, it will be published for
Okay.
opposition, and you'll get a notice of allowance. And then you have about 6 months to provide your specimen. 6 months later.
So let's say I have a product and it looks pretty good. I mean, maybe I'm doing maybe not a pre-production, run, or maybe I have some samples from China and it's got my logo, my trademark. Can I ship it to somebody and show that someone purchased it or someone got it to have that qualify for being used?
Well, as far as your use, that you want to be thinking about your specimens and what they're going to accept, the USPTO, what are they going to actually accept as a specimen for your goods? They want to see your mark on your labels, your clothing labels, tags, instruction manuals, things like that. If it's services, that you're discussing, marketing materials, brochures, photos, website printout,
Okay.
anything that shows you're using your mark in conjunction with promoting goods or services.
Okay, fair enough. What about the multi-classes? What, you specified just one, but let's say my trademark is in multiple classes. So what does that cost me? And does that cost me, double the 225? Is it?
Yeah, well, you double your fun, you double your fee, and when it comes to trademarks, you're hitting on a very important point. Is that you can do multiple classes. You can do an extra class. As I mentioned, I did class 45 in my video. I did class 45, but I could have added a couple others if I wanted. But the point that I try to explain to people is I get a lot of really excited people, and they want to protect everything all at once and the whole thing. And I say, well, let's make sure that you're actually using in commerce, or actually engaged in these types of purchases, sales, those kinds of things in commerce, so that that you're not overpaying for things that you're not using, and things that you're not using somebody else could challenge down the road. So I say don't get greedy when it comes to the classes, but every class you add is another 225 or 275 if you're using what they call the reduced fee, which is the higher
Steve,
fee.
I think people mistakenly think trademarks are the same as patents. You can file a patent for something and have it issue and prevent other people from using it or doing it without you doing it yourself, but that's not the case with a trademark. You have to use it in commerce, like you said.
Yeah, that's another great point. So yeah, trademarks is based on use, and really kind of the main difference with trademarks and your patents are, a trademark can potentially last forever as long as you're using it, paying the fees, keeping up with the filings. It can potentially last forever, and that's why so many big companies rely on their trademarks. Google, Microsoft, Starbucks, all these companies. But you can, in patent law, you get a limited monopoly. So it's a short term, and then it passes over to, so it's a different form of intellectual property. And in trademark law, you cannot trademark things that are functional, whereas in patent law, that's the whole point, is you want something functional. So that's kind of where that we do the handoff to you guys.
Got it. So let's talk a little bit about, I have a product, I have a trademark for the name, and sure enough, I'm selling product myself, or maybe my licensee is selling product, and all the copycats come out. That trademark's pretty important to take those off those online sellers, is it? Yes or no?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and that's really one of the there's one of the benefits of most important benefit is that you have that exclusive nationwide rights, subject to any there may be some prior existing users here and there that didn't file, that what we call senior users, but yeah, you can and you should police your mark, and find out if anybody else is using your mark, and if so, this is where your cease and desist letter comes in. You ask them politely to stop, but yeah, it's to protect your brand and to basically keep others out of your space.
Yeah, because it seems like the online sellers like the trademark, they like to use your trademark and all your copyrighted material too. They seem to love all that stuff because you've worked very hard to develop that, and they seem to copy it. But those are pretty good tools.
The copycat or the piggyback, and also in my world, we call them infringers, and that's a lot of what our firm is, infringement law. But yeah, it's easy to try to want to ride off the back of somebody else's hard work.
Got it. Before we open up for questions, I have a really quick point I want to make. If you incorporate the design of your product into the logo of your trademark, does that have value?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say anything that has a, if I understand, are you referring to like a logo with a nice design?
Yeah, I've seen a design that was incorporated in the logo, and if you use that design and that certain classification, you get a cease and desist letter. I thought it was very clever the way they've done that. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people.
Yeah, so as far as filing, filing logos and designs that I'm not sure if that's your point, but you can obviously file your logo and a design together or separate, and but yeah, there could be tremendous value in having a really really nice mark.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, Andrew, we've got a few more minutes. Why don't we open it up, see if there's any questions?
Yeah, I got a whole bunch. I'm sure Steve could do rapid fire on this. All right. So first one's from Mike. Does owning a domain name suffice in protecting a name versus a trademark? Question mark.
Well, those are two different things. So a domain name is more or less, I look at it as an address, but it's not to say you can't trademark a domain if it meets the requirements, such as like Amazon.com or something like that. But no, getting a trademark a domain is not the same. A domain is more of an address. A trademark is an intellectual property asset. Now, I'm not going to say the domain name is not an asset. I actually invest in a lot of domains, so I believe domains are very important, good assets, but they're two different things. But I do like when you're thinking about registering for a trademark to be thinking about domains and trying to tie those in, and also tie in with your social media handles, different things, your handles on Twitter, and try to coordinate everything so it all fits together, and that ties back into the importance of a really good search, but they're two different things.
Next one's from Chad. I've checked the trademark database and only found one previous use of the term. It states dead at the bottom. Does that imply that it can now be used?
Yeah,
So
dead is, well, not, yeah, I mean, I'd say not, yeah, you dead means dead. Dead is means you're alive. Get going and have some fun with it, sure, for sure.
Next one's from Tonis. I'm filing a U.S. trademark. If I'm filing a U.S. trademark from Canada, does the online process change much?
Yeah, I wouldn't think it does. I mean, what I would do is give it a try, and I'm pretty sure you're all going through the same portal at the USPTO. But yeah, I don't know. I've never tried that, but I would assume it's the same.
Come on, Steve. You need to drive to Canada and see if it's any different, and then get on your computer.
I've only been once.
Now wait. Hey, Steve, I have a question. What about if I want to trademark something around the world? How do we do
that was the next question, Stephen. You got Gabriel's question, but there you go. Go ahead.
Stephen's hot today. He's hot. Yeah. So trademark rights are basically country by country. So if you want a mark, like some people will create and manufacture in China, so they might want to go get a trademark in China. That has to be done through some counsel or solicitor in the UK or whatever. It has to be done. Usually big giant law firms will have lawyers in all areas of the world, and they'll be able to handle something like that. But it's kind of territorial, so you would want to find somebody in each area and find out their rules.
So if you file for a trademark, you've got to go in different territories. That could get quite expensive, couldn't it?
Well, yeah, and that's why I say it's real important to not get greedy. The temptation to get greedy is so strong, but I say start small, start simple. You guys have heard of the KISS principle, keep it simple. So, it's just, start small, go where you need to go. But yeah, the cost can add up, and most clients I deal with, want to keep the cost down and build it up from there instead of starting big and hoping it works.
Okay.
Latonia says, thank you for the video. It's not, her trademark is not being used 1B. How is that impacted with the 6-month time frame if it's a 1B filing?
Yeah, thank you, Latonia, for the compliment. Yeah, so the 1B, so what would happen is you file the 1B application. There's no need for any specimen to be filed. You're going to have you know, 6 or more months, you can always get extensions of, you know, up to, I think it's 5 extensions. So you can drag it out for years if you wanted to, but you have time to, you know, if you have a good idea and you want to make sure that you're going to get approved before you invest all your advertising dollars, and 1B filing is the popular choice. Let's get in, let's submit the filing. We'll get the notice of allowance. If it looks good, the trademark office will send you a notice of allowance. You have 6 months to give them the proper specimen, and you're good to go. So the ITUs, as we call them, intent to use, those are nice, and you have no stress, but make sure you're keeping your eye on getting a sample to them.
Nice.
Carlos says, can I register my trademark first in one class and then later on, months later, in another class?
Yeah, yeah, of course. And so, but you know, like I said, you can't go back, and typically you would be filing a brand new registration form. So let's say you get your first trademark in January, and 4 months later you're using your mark in a different category or an additional category. Then you'd say, hey, well, I want to protect this as well. Just go file another mark. You saw the fee, $225, not too shabby. So, yeah.
This one's for me, Steve.
Sure.
If you had, if there was a trademark in tires, and you had a new type of diaper, how is it just basically like, you know, there's some bullies out there. There's some trademark bullies. You know, you might say like Monster Cable. You probably know about them, and then McDonald's and others. How do you determine, like, oh, well, as long as there's not confusion in the mind of the consumer that they're going to confuse that tire trademark with the diaper trademark? How do you figure out whether or not you're violating somebody's trademark?
That is a key question. So trademark bullies, number one, yeah. I mean, I remember one case with the Godzilla company. Like anything with Zilla in it, they claim the rights to the reptile form. And so, you know, you have these, and again, they're trying to protect their space. They're trying to make sure their name does not go generic. If it goes generic, you lose your trademark. But there can be, and there often are, conflicting marks. Like I use Lexus Legal Research, and there's a Lexus car out there. So how do they exist? Well, they're in completely different channels. And the test is there a likelihood of consumer confusion? That's the test. There's a lot of different factors. Different jurisdictions have different rules, but there's like 8 or 9 factors that you look at. But in general, to me, it's more of a common sense. Are we selling to the same people? Is it the same customer? Is the same channels of trade? But so that is exactly what the trademark examiner is looking for. Is there that conflict where we have to deny the mark? That's why I say do the research up front, and you know, if you don't know, you're not sure, then seek legal counsel.
Last one. Brian said, can you get a trademark and use it to sweeten a licensing deal?
But that's interesting. Yeah, trademarks tie into franchising. So where you see you can't get a trademark and then try to sell it to somebody, but you can get a trademark in a successful business plan, a successful business, and franchise, which is a form of licensing your trademark. So from that respect, yes. Can you license it for merchandising? Well, that happens all the time. NFL gear and things like that, Disney, they're licensing their valuable marks to manufacturers and things like that. So absolutely.
Yeah, I love that question. Hey, Andrew, why don't you go to Steve's website for just a minute so we can wrap up and see what else he does.
All right.
Because I'm a little confused, Steve. I mean, you do a lot of, I'm always confused, but you do a lot of intellectual property. Explain that to me.
Well, yeah. I do everything literally except for patents. Patents require a special bar admittance.
Okay.
Most people don't know that, but I do, you know, I do a lot of copyright laws. It says here, There's a lot of file sharing, copyright infringement, right of publicity cases, things like that, but a lot of infringement, okay? So a lot of copyright infringement related claims, and some of those are intertwined with trademark infringement. Many times I would say you'd see the two intertwined. Somebody's copying photos or videos and also, or reselling software using the brand, all those kinds of things. So, but yeah, so we do kind of all forms of intellectual property with a focus on copyright.
I think I got a new tagline for you, Steve, the infringement guy.
Hey, 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 bada bing.
Maybe
hey, you better file a trademark on that. Hey, real quick, it's because of your specialty. It's very important because of online sellers now, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Now, that's why I say everything is pretty much interstate commerce now. And so, yeah, and it's getting crazy with what we call brand enforcement and, you know, trademarks. The nice thing about trademarks is you get international, I mean, you can stop infringing goods from coming in. But from a website perspective, you can easily search and monitor and find infringing marks and send cease and desist letters. Protect your brand.
Wonderful. Protect your brand. I love it. Steve, thank you very much for coming on tonight.
Guys,
very educational.
Steve, and keep doing what you guys are doing. I'm here anytime if have other topics, but everybody march on. The dream is there. Make it happen, and it's here for everyone.
Thank you so much, Steve. Take care and keep inventing, everybody. Good night.
Take care.
Good night.